Rim series, that's right. Ramblings of an insane man for you today. Now, I have an interesting topic to discuss with you today. First of all, I want to do a brief, how do you say, update on me, what I'm currently doing, where I'm at overall physically, and also, well, this is going to be a video, anyways, about my mental status, right? But I want to also discuss what is physically happening to me. So I will quickly pull up my thing. So currently, my body weight is 81.7 kilograms. You know, I've been on a bulk. This is, I think, the second week. So I started with 79 or something. I know it might seem a big increase in 2 weeks, like 2 or 3 kilograms almost. But I've started also using creatine, so you know there is a lot of water weight. Also, it's not as easy, you know. It's my current weight. What I weighed today, yesterday, it was a bit different. It was like 2 or 300 grams less. So yeah, it jumps around each day. So you have to like look at the bigger picture. But yeah, I suspect that at least 1 or 2 kilograms is definitely just pure water weight that's happening because I've been also not just using creatine these 2 weeks, but I've been submerging myself in it basically. I've not been using 3 or 5 grams of it. I've been using 10 grams daily because I wanted to like soak up creatine, and then starting from tomorrow, starting from today, I'm starting to decrease the amount I'm taking to only about 3 to 5 grams a day, which is the normal amount. About my diet, keeping around 3.2 to 3.4 thousand calories per day, which has been probably working very good. But since I've been on creatine, I can't really tell for sure. But the weight has been growing steadily. On weightlifting, performance still is growing. On energy levels, pretty high energy throughout the day. Yeah, also I haven't been using any caffeine for the past 3 or 4 weeks because I'm of the diarrhea. And yeah, so that's why I'm not using any caffeine right now. And that's also, I think, affected my circadian rhythm in a way because I've had much better sleep and much better functioning all throughout the day in general. I don't get those caffeine crashes anymore, so I think I'm just gonna keep it this way. Higher endurance in the training sessions, great, but also I am eating more sugar as well. Currently, a lot more sugar than previously, mostly in the form of ice cream because I am. Well, that is my favorite type of sweet food. At least like one bucket of ice cream per day. That's like 4 or 5 euros right there. In a month, it's probably gonna be pretty much. Yesterday, I had 2 buckets of ice cream. So yeah, well, I'm definitely not doing this anymore, you know, because I'm gonna puff up so fast. It's not very great. So I'm gonna try and take this. It's not a bad habit per se, but it's not great either. So I'm just gonna quit it while it's still fresh, you know. I've been eating ice cream every day like this for like the past week or so, maybe a bit more. So I need to stop it. And this is such a great segue to today's topic, which is about bad habits and vices and addictions, I guess, too. And also like cravings, well, mostly about cravings. That's the thing why I want to talk about it today is because, well, it's very hard to. I think that's the hardest part to quit an addiction or a vice, is because you have the cravings, right? So I want to share my own experiences on how I deal with these cravings, and maybe this will help you. So yeah, what do I mean by cravings? So in my past example, I don't know if you guys know, but who don't, I used to smoke, I used to vape, I used to do all kinds of stuff. Not great. No, not any of them were great. But yeah, I quit all of them. I didn't quit them all at the exact same time. I quit one and then the other and then the other and so on, because it was the cravings from quitting one thing is already quite enough. So if you had to quit everything at once, it would have been too much for me. Well, it was too much for me. That's why I failed so many times, but in the end got over everything because I did it my own way, not how other people wanted me to do them. So, and the current example is with eating. Sometimes, well, if I've had a pretty great day, like very fulfilling day where I've done loads of stuff, you know, I don't really have any cravings for food. But when it's like, for example, today is Sunday here. It doesn't matter, what day it is, because it's probably not gonna come out any day soon, So when when it's Sundays, it's I don't really do anything. I just actually like allow myself rest. I just sleep in my bed, sleep all day, or watch some, I don't know, um, movies or stuff. And while I'm doing that, I have cravings for food. I want to eat all the time, and mostly I do exactly that. I eat all the time, but I've learned now to not eat like complete junk. For example, today I ate like a hippo, but all I had was sushi and the chocolate bar. But yeah, I ordered 72 pieces of sushi and ate it like in 2 hours. And then I was like, I am still hungry. What do I do now? And then I went to my pantry and got out the chocolate bar that's been sitting there for a month. That's what I mean by cravings. So, cravings are objectively not great. First of all, you have decreased mental capacity due to constant nagging of, the cravings, the little demon living on your shoulder, whispering bad things into your ear, saying that you really need to have that cigarette or that vape, So and if you haven't had it, it just starts screaming, and you can't really concentrate on anything else. So that's the decreased mental capacity. It also impedes your ability to make the right choices for yourself. Like, for example, in my case, when I tried to achieve a goal of cutting my weight to, have visible abs, these cravings were really frustrating, because mostly, you can, if you're cutting weight, you can't listen to the craving, because if you do, then you ultimately sacrifice your goal. So I mean, that's an example in my case. And also, cravings are dangerous if you're trying to quit a bad habit. For example, like smoking. You don't really need an explanation there, If you want to quit smoking, like in my own example, when I tried to quit smoking, the cravings were really severe. And, well, that's why I had to quit smoking so many times. I tried, I don't know, like maybe 20 times to quit this habit, and every time I lost, because the cravings got the upper hand over me. It's very bad. And yeah, but after I got over it, there are no more cravings, but we'll get to that later. What triggers cravings? Well, for me at least, feeling great. When I felt great, I wanted to sort of reward myself. For example, when I used to smoke weed, I wanted to reward myself with like this, oh, I did a great job today. I want to, have a smoke, so I would, let my, I don't know, reptilian brain be like satisfied with the dopamine hit or whatever, because there wasn't already enough dopamine already flowing around it there. I had to have more, but that was also um, sort of a symptom of underlying addiction. But anyways, the second time when triggers were cravings were triggered was when I was feeling down, like sad, or I had some fear. I was afraid of something, and I wanted to, escape or something, or just to make myself feel better. Because, well, again, first it's escapism, where you sort of don't think anything more, and the second thing is quite physical, when you feel the dopamine and the serotonin or whatever, uh, hit your body, and you feel better. The third trigger was physical dependencies. Well, that's sort of like the last level of addiction, where you've reached such a condition where your body sort of requires them, otherwise you feel sick, like shakes, or can't sleep in night, or can't think about anything, and yeah. Also, another one, I sort of thought about it and just wanted to write it down. FOMO, aka fear of missing out. That would be like the fourth trigger. Because whenever I was around other people that were like smoking weed or something, yeah, I didn't want to be left out of the high. I know it sounds like a weird reason, but that was a trigger for me at least. So that's like how I would define cravings and what triggers them. Now, what did I do, or what was the process I went through to get rid of the cravings? So first of all, I asked myself some questions. First of all, why do I want to do it? And there were like four possible answers for me. Um, Either I was stressed out, I wanted to celebrate something, I was sometimes just bored, or maybe I physically actually craved it. When I answered that question, whichever of these answers, I then asked, what will I gain if I actually went ahead and did it? And mostly there was just one answer: I would gain momentary relief. Okay, you get some relief, but then the third question: what will I lose if I actually went ahead and did it? The what the craving was asking of me to do. And there were already, like, that's when I started to realize I would lose self-respect, most of all. I would have disappointed others who, were essentially trusting me that my own words, that I was not gonna, have another whatever I promised not to do, and perhaps even some health detriments. For example, smoking. Everybody knows it's not good for you, but you still, so many people do it, and so many people die from it. Like, if I'm not mistaken, 9 out of 10 lung cancer deaths are from the people who smoke cigarettes. that's that's a lot. That's like 90% of the statistic. So yeah, the fourth question I would ask myself is, how will I feel afterwards if I did do it? I would, and then there were mostly three answers. I would relieve, I would feel relief for a moment, but then right after I would feel and even if I had a streak or something, like I don't know, I didn't smoke for like a month, and then I, went ahead and did it, and I was like, God damn it, now I have to start over. So yeah, that was actually a big reason why, in the end, I actually quit. Was so able to quit smoking because I had a streak going, and I was like, at first when I stopped smoking, I told myself, okay, I'm just gonna, try and not do this for a month, and if I still feel like it, then okay, I'm just gonna do it. And after a month, I was like, I already have a streak. I don't really wanna I wanna see how far I can go. And it just kept going. And in the end, I was like, I don't need this anymore. So that was actually a big reason. So, and the fifth question I would ask myself is, how would I feel afterwards if I didn't do it? If I didn't do what the craving wanted me to. I mean, sure, I would feel moody for a moment, and yeah, but first great thing, I would have preserved my self-respect for myself, or even better yet, gained more self-respect, because I won over myself. And what is the biggest enemy of any man is it's himself. So if you win over yourself, boom, your confidence also goes up. After I've asked these 5 questions to myself, so let's recap. Why do I want to do it? What will I gain from it? What will I lose from it? How will I feel afterwards if I did it? And how will I feel afterwards if I didn't do it? After I've asked these 5 questions, I would then remind myself with at least 3 reasons why I started. So, for example, for my weight loss, when I wanted to cut some weight down, when I weighed 91.5 kilograms and cut it down to 80 or so, 80 and something kilos. Yeah, I really wanted to have a six pack till Yani. That was one reason. I know, very shallow reason, but it was, for me, it's something I never had. And my little brother has it, and I'm so jealous. So I wanted it too. And I don't like the feeling of how I feel when I'm bloated. For example, right now, after 72 pieces of sushi, I am quite bloated. I fart all the time, and I don't feel too great. So I know I need to stop. And also, I want to be able to do pull-ups, because in my life I was never able to do properly like 10 pull-ups, and after I cut the weight, I could even do 11, or I think the record was 12. So yeah, those were the 3 reasons I reminded myself about. Yeah, if it's fear of missing out, I truly tried to understand if what I would be missing out on is really that great. Like, I mean, is it really worth it? And two, understand that I if I in fact did the thing that I was what my craving wanted me to do, then I might be actually be missing out on the alternative, which could have been actually much better than what I wanted to get with the craving. I mean, what the craving wanted me to do. Yeah. So you always have 2 roads you could pick, and you could fall in the vice road. Follow the craving and in the end do it, and you would get the outcome you expect. But you also have the other road where if you didn't give in the cravings, you would have had an alternative experience. You don't know if it's better or worse, sure, but it would be definitely something else than you already know would be there, and you also know that it's bad for you. So yeah. And If the symptoms are physical, then I would put them on a scale of 1 to 10, and in my own head, like, try and feel how high are the cravings on this scale. So usually these cravings are not higher than a 5, and if they are below 7, then I would just go through the whole process I mentioned above. But if they are above 7, which is quite already getting severe and really irritating if it's physical. If it's mental, you can get everything done, but if it's physical, like you're literally shaking or can't sleep or whatever, it's some people have like this. If they're addicted to alcohol, they can't. It's dangerous physically for their body to drop alcohol immediately. They could actually die from it. So if that's the case, go to a rehab. But if your cravings are above 7, I would usually try to break the vicious thought cycle by just doing something else. For example, something physical, like going for a short walk, or just go for a coffee, or eat an apple or something. Just something. You just do something, because our minds are quite poisonous sometimes, and by doing something physical or anything else, you sort of put your mind to another place, you force it to be in another place, and you can sort of break that, for a while at least, break that vicious cycle of those cravings. For example, for smoking, this was very bad for me, and this is actually the way I did it. When I had the cravings, I put them on the scale. If they were really, really bad, I did go for a walk. Yeah, I did walk many kilometers at that time and drank many coffees. That's one reason I probably got addicted to that instead. But coffee for me was very easy to drop. It's never been like an addiction or anything like bad, but it's been but with like nicotine, it's horrible. The cravings are horrible. So yeah, uh, that's what I usually do if I get the cravings. Now, in conclusion, what I would suggest is, for most people, is actually not to disregard the cravings, but actually pay attention to them, because they are always telling me something about myself. For example, weed, when I was addicted to that, why I wanted to smoke weed was, well, sure, there were like the addiction, I was very used to it, but that wasn't the underlying cause. The underlying cause was actually because I wanted to escape the reality that I was living in by doing that. And if I would fix the issue with my own reality, if I created the reality I wanted to live in, then by extension, weed wouldn't have that big of a power over me. And that's what I started doing. So one was, I started to change my own reality to the reality I really wanted to live in. And the second was, well, in the end, it was like a physical thing, and I just needed a kick in the butt to finally get over it. And that's how I got rid of it. If you get the cravings, go through the process. If after the process you don't indulge in the cravings, great, awesome. However, if you do indulge, don't get your hopes down. You either weren't really ready for the big jump over to the other side, or your foot just simply slipped. You'll get there eventually, though, if you sincerely keep trying. So just keep trying. And everyone has their own vices. Not all vices are, though, equal. Some don't affect your overall life quality that much. For example, some people are addicted to coffee. Actually, most people, I think, are addicted to coffee, but it doesn't really affect them that much. You could actually argue that it sort of makes their life more productive, But it is a drug nonetheless. However, other vices are absolutely detrimental to your health. For example, nobody argues that users are not in their best, are not living their lives in such a way that is helpful for their own. I can't even say, but it's not great for them objectively, and I think every user might agree too. And yeah, so you would need just to assess this on your own, if it's in which category, or rather the spectrum, does the your vice fall under. If it's not that detrimental, and if you think that, you know, you can just keep on doing it, but just maybe if you're starting to question it, then it might be at least a very helpful thing to maybe try and moderate it and see what happens, how your body and mind reacts to the change. And yeah, but if it's detrimental, then yeah, do what you need to do, but get rid of it. So yeah, you would need to, of course, assess this on your own, because nobody really can force you to do anything. I mean, we are free will living creatures, right? Yeah, but if you are far too gone in the pit, where your judgment is too clouded, then others, like your family or your friends, might be able to give you a nudge and just point out this thing that you're doing to you, and point out the current situation of your life. Because as sometimes we are sometimes very um, let me rephrase that. We do all have our own pride, right? We don't really want anyone to interfere with our lives and with our own journeys, but sometimes it's actually a big blessing that people come in and point out, hey, Yanis, you are this path you've chosen. All due respect to your own path and your own life, but it seems that your path is leading you to a cliff, and if you're gonna keep going there, I can see only death for you, for example. So don't disregard other people just because you want to live your own life. Completely respectable, but sometimes we do need to also take others. We need to hear other people's opinions, or just points of view, because we are not always in our best minds. So yeah, but in the end, it is still always going to be you that chooses to change something or not. I know it so well that it's sort of this part of me that I know I cannot get rid of, but I must learn how to live with it. And I want to say that for the most part, I think I have actually learned to live together with it and be at peace with it. And from time to time, let the little bratty child have a little, chocolate bar or something. But of course, everything is moderation, and you need to have everything in balance. And nothing inherently is too bad for you. It's just having too much of something can be very bad for you. And yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye!